Jello und welcome inside the mind of Nomi. I don't know what episode this is, but I do know it has been about a month or so since I've done a video. And the reason you can see these two chairs, well, I guess let me back it up a second. I have been in a funk, and that's probably why it's been a month or so, because I had some shit going on. I'm doing better now, but I was quiet because that's how I get when I have this funk going on. So let me get back to this empty chair. I would like to welcome a special guest, Depression. Welcome. It's not ever welcome, but here it is. Depression. And with depression comes his little buddy, anxiety. And with depression and anxiety, you can't forget anger. So that's why this little chair is here, to illustrate my point, I guess. I stopped working. The season was over, so I was laid off. I stopped school. The semester was over, so that was done. So I had about, 5 weeks of not doing anything. 4 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that. And it started off fine. It was awesome. I had a few days to myself. That was nice. And then I started going stir crazy and did all my cleaning and all my stuff that I normally do. That was cool. And then what really kicks it for me, a trigger, is too much sleep. And I was sleeping until like 11:30, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And even though I had gone to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, that's way too much sleep for me. So 4 or 5 days of too much sleep lets little depression edge its way in just however he wants. And things start just falling to shit. That's just how it rolls with me. I've dealt with this before. Back in my 20s, I spent literally probably years in bed. Not years on end, but collectively, I was in bed for years. So, through a lot of hard work and support from my family, my husband specifically, I learned what my triggers were, how to avoid them, and how to pick myself up by my bootstraps and get the fuck on and get going and get back to better. So this too much sleep thing led to sitting around not being active. That lets depression get into me. That lets anxiety get into me. And when depression takes you over, anybody that's experienced it knows that it just steals the joy from everything that you try to do. You don't enjoy the songs that you used to love. You can't sing and dance and have fun. You can, because depression's weird like that. You'll get super sad and not be able to do anything, or you'll get super happy and be able to just be bubbly and bouncy, and it's just weird like that. But you start sitting around, you don't do your activities, you don't brush your teeth, you don't brush your hair, you don't take a shower, you don't want to do the dishes, you don't want to do the things that you normally enjoyed doing. And I enjoy cleaning my house. It makes me feel like I'm in control. It makes me feel like I have a grasp on what's going on. And so when you sit around and the depression sneaks in, sometimes it just overwhelms you and boom, you are depressed. And sometimes it sneaks in a little at a time, day by day. So that's what happened to me, is it's just snuck in a little at a time, day by day. And when the depression gets there, then you have the anxiety that you're letting depression do these things to you. It's like you have a choice. And I mean, you do have a choice, but you kind of don't, because I have to go through the cycles of it, I suppose. I guess I have to get to this point where it just completely consumes me. And then I have to get to another point where I'm completely anxious about all these things that depression has done. That I've let depression do. That's how I get. It's like, and then it comes out in the form of anger, because I'm angry at myself for being depressed. I'm angry at myself for not taking care of things. I'm angry at myself for not taking care of me. I'm angry for not being strong enough to avoid it. I'm angry because the floor is on the floor. I get angry about everything, and it's because of the depression and the anxiety and everything just built up inside me. So I go through these weird things, and when I'm depressed, I just like lay around and don't do anything. I just sit there. And I sit there for so long that my body hurts. And I sit there and stare into space for so long that my eyes hurt because I'm not blinking. And when the anxiety comes to me, it's like, you know how you move your hand really fast and it's a blur? Okay, so I'm sitting there or I'm laying there, but something inside me is moving so freaking fast that I feel like a volcano about to erupt. And yet, I'm sitting there doing nothing. There's nothing going on. But something inside me is just so worked up and so anxious and so energetic that inside my body, I'm doing all the tasks that I think I should be doing. I'm cleaning the dishes, I'm vacuuming the floor, I'm scrubbing the freaking walls, I'm washing the windows, I'm doing everything. So there's this whole huge list, and you know your mind goes way faster than your mouth or your body can. So my mind is just rolling through all of these days and days and days of activities that I should have been doing that weren't getting done. So I realize this. I mean, I'm pretty aware of what's going on with me, so I see that I'm getting into a bad spot, and I know that I need to do something about it. So the worst part, I guess, was the first week, maybe 2 weeks. I hardly did anything at all. Nothing. I didn't do my walking. I didn't do any exercises in the house. I wasn't working to do any exercises. I wasn't getting anything physical, and that's a huge part of it for me, is being physical. If I'm not moving, I'm not creating the endorphins or the dopamine or whatever it is that I need to feel like myself. Because I do not take medications for this kind of thing. I just don't. I used to take Xanax for my anxiety, and it didn't feel right. I felt like I should be able to control this on my own. And I am a person who can. Now, I'm not knocking on anybody who needs medication to take care of their depression and anxiety and anger and the things that you're doing. That's you. That's totally cool. If you're doing what you need to do to take care of yourself, that's fucking awesome. That's what we need to do. What I did do is I made sure no matter how shitty I felt, no matter what was going on, I went for my walk. And it's important for my dog too. He's stuck in the house with me. He's not doing anything. So I'm depressed. I'm sitting there looking at him and he's depressed. And, you know, I don't want him to have to suffer because of something I'm going through. I don't want anybody to have to suffer because of anything that I'm going through. My husband has. He gets to deal with the anger part. That's really great for him. That's some suffrage for sure. So every day, if I hadn't already walked by 3 o'clock, then I suck it up, put on my layers, my jacket, get the leash, and head out the door. Because I know by 3 o'clock, if I'm not out the door, I don't have time to do the 5-mile loop that Thor and I usually do before it gets dark. So that's really helped a lot. I really force myself to go and do it. It's not just for me, it's for Thor, and it makes it a little easier for me to make sure that it gets done. Speaking of the devil, there's Thor. It makes it a little easier for me to make sure that things get done when I'm being active. And it gets me out in the little bit of sunlight that we have here in Michigan during the winter months, and it gives me some endorphins, and it makes me feel better about myself, and it keeps me from blowing up like a piece of popcorn in a hot oven. And all of those things really matter. So, yesterday and today have been really good. I'm not really sure. I think it's the exercise. I think it's just the fact that I'm realizing that I have to change something. And it's the fact that the new semester is coming up and I've gotten out of the house a little bit and I've gone and done some stuff, because not having any money to go anywhere and go see anybody or drive anywhere or just get away from my driveway besides on foot has a lot to do with it too. There's a lot of factors that add in. So one of the things I was thinking about last night when I was thinking about doing this video is the fact that depression, anxiety, and anger are kind of like a little threesome. And you remember that game when you were a kid, Red Rover, Red Rover? It's like they're just all standing there hand to hand and they're like, Red Rover, send Nomi's ass on over. Okay, so you run And you get there and you think you're going to break through because you can get through some shit. You can get through anything. You can do anything. But if there's an opening and if there's a way for them to get to you, you get there and you don't break through. They surround your ass and they take you down. And you have to fight and fight and fight. And you have to do whatever it is in your power to get yourself back up. If that is talking to a professional, if it's talking to your best friend, if it's walking with your dog, if it's singing and dancing in your living room, if it's doing push-ups 50 times a day, 20 sets every time, it is what it is. You do what you got to do. You get your ass up and you figure it out. Now, I have a combination of ways. I have many, many ways that I help myself because I'm the only one who can really help myself. I mean, people can talk me through things. People can say anything that they want. I know how to do nails. I know how to do hair. I know how to do makeup. I know how to do tattoos. I can make costumes. I can cook. I'm a good person. I have a good heart. I have a lot of things that I can tell myself and that you could tell me if you were seeing me depressed and you wanted to help me up. But those things don't matter unless I personally put worth to them. I have to be the one to take the step to heal, to figure out what it is that got me here and what it is that's going to get me out of here. Now, a lot of people deal with this. A lot of people deal with this on a very, very mild kind of level, and a lot of people deal with this in a super severe kind of way. And I feel for all of those people. This shit sucks. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants to sit in their fucking house and cry for no reason and then cry some more because they're crying for no reason and cry so much that your eyes are so puffy that you have no liquid left in your body because you have laid in bed and cried it out. You didn't get up to pee. You didn't get up to drink. You didn't get up to eat. You didn't get up to cook your kids some fucking food. You didn't do shit. You just laid in bed for days on end, sleeping and crying and sleeping and crying. So let me get back to my solutions to my problem. I journal. I work a lot of things out mentally. I just kind of talk to myself in my head, and that's not crazy. That just, it is what it is. And I walk. I work out. I clean my house. That's a big thing for me because when I'm cleaning, I'm getting things in order. I'm getting control of the things that I have control over. And I'm getting myself activity. And that really meant, cleaning your house at a brisk pace. It burns 335 calories an hour, just so you know. But it's really good for me because I get things in order and it helps me to make a plan. It helps me to prepare for the next day or the next week or whatever. And I just wanted to put this out there because a lot of people have always told me when they've seen me sad or mad or whatever, they're just like, wow, I have never seen you not smiling. I just thought you were so happy. I thought you were the happiest person ever and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's the thing. We don't know the ins and outs of every single person's life, no matter how close to them we are, no matter how well we think we know somebody. Everybody's going through something. Everybody suffers with these types of things. If you don't ever suffer with anxiety or depression or anger, that's so cool. I wish I could be like you. But I'm not. I'm like me. So, like I said, I am my biggest fan. I don't think that's the right way to put it. I am my biggest solution, and I am also my biggest problem. I am my biggest critic. I can pick myself up more than anybody else can, and I can put myself down more than anybody else can. So, I just felt it was really important to get something like this out there. I want you people to share it with your friends if you think that they need somebody to say something. And I mean, it's being talked about a little bit. Depression, anxiety, anger, all these kinds of emotional issues that people go through. It's being talked about, but I don't think it's being talked about enough. And I don't think it's being talked about seriously. And I mean, if comedy is your thing, then whatever. That's how you get through stuff. But as long as people know that you are genuine in between the jokes, that's really all we need to know is genuine. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that's ever listened to me when I hit them up with some stupid kind of conversation. I want to say thank you to my husband for always being there and putting up with my shit because he knows that I go through a lot. I know he goes through a lot because of me. My kids, they're super, super awesome. They take care of me just about as much as I've taken care of them in their life. My mother-in-law, my mom, my sister, my dad, everybody really makes an impact in my life, and I really appreciate and support all of them also. And thank you, Depression, for being my guest star on my show today. Nobody can see them, but they are always there. So keep your eye out, because if you have just a little crack, they'll edge their way in, and they'll take you over. And nobody needs that. And it's really hard to get them off your back. So, I mean, even though I said today and yesterday were good days, this morning I felt it starting to creep up, so I went for my walk a little earlier. And I actually wanted to keep walking today, but it's 26 degrees outside, and I just didn't want to go another couple of miles, because the next circle would have been 5 more, and I didn't want to do 10 miles, so my ass was kind of cold. Anyway, thank y'all for listening. I appreciate you. And share if somebody needs to see this crap that I'm saying. It's not really crap. I'm not putting myself down. I'm done with that kind of shit. Share. And thank you. And depression can be cured. I don't think it can be cured. I think even though you're having a good day, it could always come back. It's not like the chicken pox where you get it, you get over it, and then you can't ever get it again. It's like a cold or a flu where you get it, you're down with it for a while, and then when it goes away, you know it could come back at any moment. So, I guess that's it for now. I just had to say something. It never works out on these videos the way that I plan it in my mind, so one of these days I think I might actually write a script or something. I don't know. But thank you for listening. Peace!